All right, everyone. How are you doing today?
Fine, sir.
Yeah, Daniel.
Happy weekend, sir.
Happy weekend.
How did you enjoy it?
Dispose this away.
You look different today, sir. Like I like your suit and
Thank you. Okay, good to have you guys.
And it took a different position today from what we've seen.
Yeah, everything is changing. Everything is changing. How do you Christians sing that song? Things are getting better.
Of course, sir. I was talking about you online on Twitter, and someone was saying they wanted to know how I was being trained. So I told them I'm in training with you.
Okay. What's your name? I think I saw a comment.
I saw it was used my mobile. It's called a Terra Store, mobile accessories.
Oh,
mobile
okay.
phone. Yes.
Okay.
That was me.
Okay, I think I saw something like that.
Yeah, I think you liked the comments that I made.
Okay, that was you then.
Yes, sir.
Great to have good ambassadors like you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Really
awesome. All right, so you ready for your presentation today? Olushoga, are you ready for presentation? Remember your presentation topic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, but before presentation, which is the main thing for today, because that's my way to measure how you are coping and how you are doing. It's not enough to just dish out and dish out. I need to get feedback. And that presentation is one way to do it, to know how you are coping. But then I'll just give you an overview of a higher level of networking to prepare you for the next level of networking we'll be going into. Because everything we are doing is networking. Sometimes it's a small network, I'll call it LAN. Sometimes it's a big network, bigger network, call it enterprise. Sometimes it's the biggest network, I will call it cloud. It's all network. All right, so before I take you through the next level of networking, what questions do you have on what we've covered so far? Questions? Abimbola Adirunke, Gbadero, questions? Akinyemi, questions? Dario Mole, Lucia, Debupe, Informa, Lucia, Marfa.
Question, but
all right.
While I was trying to, I was working on the last thing we did, trying to. Okay, so I was trying to log in using the last test we did on the replica, doing the file sharing. So I had created the file on the Windows server and the primary domain control. I had my primary and my secondary open. So when I created the test file, I wanted to now go and log in and check. But I was trying to log in on the secondary domain controller, trying to use a user, one of the users I created. So in the process of trying to do that, they kept telling me this login method you are trying is not applicable. So I kept wondering that what's going on. I deleted users I created, change passwords. It just didn't go. So I started to Google and think that something must be wrong. And so I eventually found out that I can't log in using a user on my domain controller. It has to be on a client's system. So I felt a bit foolish afterwards.
Yes, yes. It's good to feel like that.
I learned the hard way that what I was trying to do was actually very silly.
Awesome.
Clients trying to log in.
Beautiful way to practice. Good. Well done.
So I learned my lesson there.
Good contribution. Well done. Yes. Forma. Is it Ifoma or Ifoma? Is it the Robo own or the Igbo?
Ifoma, sir.
Ifoma, okay. Emmanuel Rogers, what did you learn? What did you stumble on?
Well, I had the same experience like the guy that just explained now, but mine I didn't delete my own, so I created the IIS, and I configured the IIS. So when I was trying to see if I can browse, so I used another username trying to log into the domain name, and it didn't work. So I was like, what's going on? So I tried all I could, but later I figured it out, like I was making mistakes. I was using another username trying to log in. So I felt the same way he felt. That was why I was laughing when he said it. So.
Okay. All right. When you practice and you learn from practice, it sticks forever. Even though we have mentioned this in class, but it didn't make sense until you practice.
Sure.
All right, let's wait for more people to join and use that opportunity to.
Some people are lucky.
John, Nick, Wino, what were your experiences? All right, they are not responding. Who else is there? Dario Modi, are you there? From Miss Abiola. All right, so let me bring up my whiteboard. All right, so you can see my whiteboard, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so, and then I'm going to, yeah, Peter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry to draw you back. I was looking at the brochure, and I think maybe I didn't attend the class, or I'm not sure. I wanted to ask, I can't remember I was doing DFS, that's distribution file system, or maybe I wasn't in class. I think that's the only one I think we skipped, but I want to be sure, maybe it's me, or we dealt it, and I didn't attend class that day.
No, we haven't done it. Should we do it? Maybe we should do it. I felt we could just do that. Yeah, maybe we should do it, or maybe I just copy the step by step, post it on the forum so that you practice that yourself. Whichever.
Okay.
Let me just,
it's better that way, sir.
Yeah, let me just feed you. I don't want to lose. I'm avoiding spoon feeding you from A to Z, so I need to ginger you to do some stuff by yourself.
That's fine. You can put it on the forum. We will try it.
Okay.
Okay, then I was talking to a friend that is a system, Windows system administrator too, and based on he knew me way from the university. So it was impressed because by my profession while I was in Nigeria, I was a banker.
Okay.
But I'm in America, but I'm on the street here. I do all kinds of jobs. But through our discussion, he realized then that in the little while, because I told him I was going to start the training. So while we are conversing, it's like, you have really, at least I have a little bit of idea. So he wanted to join the Linux training. So I forwarded it to him. I will also remind him to join the Linux. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you for the job.
Yeah. You didn't realize I needed thank you until your friend confirmed that you know something now, right?
I didn't know. I didn't know myself that I did something.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. You don't know how much you know now until you go to interviews.
Yeah.
You don't know.
So it was
I can beat my chest to it.
You are. Yeah. So I said I will give you a thumbs up. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Right. And then, of course, by the time you practice more and more, you make the kind of mistakes Emmanuel and Olusoga talked about. You become even stronger. And they will wonder, where did you learn this? How come you are so detailed? That's my joy. And that's what has kept me in business for 27 years. My students always excel out there. They do so well. Even the interviewers would ask, where did you learn this? And then they would send their brothers, their cousins, their relations to me back door. They say, wherever that guy got that from, you go and learn it and be good at it. So you are my marketers, kind of. You are my ambassadors. All right. Thank you too for spreading the good news. Who else is there? And thank you for the people that sent in their reviews. I appreciate you. Thank you for volunteering. All right. So now we're in class. I hope, how would I know when people are if people are waiting outside? So the next thing I want to do is get a big screen so I don't have to be minimizing all the time. Big screen to play around with. This is a tiny screen related. All right, so now I have this. Are you seeing my whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me start. So I have that drawing. All right, and in that drawing, I have this system. I've drawn this many times, so just keep drawing it, you get used to it. So just take that as my representation of a system. Then take that as a representation of a system. Just manage it. And then, of course, you have answered this one many times, so I'm not going to ask you again. You already know that that's a data cable, that's a data cable. This is system 1, system 2, system 3, and that's a switch right there. And that the whole of this is my, you've done Windows, so okay. So the whole of this is my local area network. Okay, all of that you already know. Now, I'm talking to you now as a Windows Server administrator, not just as a networking person, specifically as a Windows Server administrator. All right? So this thing that I call LAN here, as a Windows Server administrator, you would call what? Give me a name for that.
Enterprise.
I can say it's an enterprise network.
Wrong.
Corporate network, sir.
Yes, corporate network, yeah, but from the Windows Server.
Work group.
Oh, yeah, well, there's so much noise from your background.
Work group.
No, wrong. Okay, maybe you are right. Maybe you are right. Hold on. Hold on. Your wallet is right, but let me do something to tell him that's not the kind of answer I expect. All right, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This 3 is a domain controller. What operating system is running on this domain controller?
Windows Server.
Okay.
Server operating system.
Server.
Yes, server.
Server OS.
All correct. You all got that right. Okay. So this is that.
Client server.
So what is the other name I would call this specifically as it relates to?
Client server network.
Client server network.
Yes, it is a client server network, but I don't want to call it network. Network is the general name that everybody calls it. Client server network.
Domain.
Domain. Good.
Domain.
Correct. Domain. All right. Now You got it. So now I have another network over there. Another network. Just to put this in a perspective so that you know what I'm talking about. This is in New York. No, this is in California, our head office. This in Dallas. I think I've drawn something like this before. This in Dallas, Texas. And that is Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Now, I need to connect all of these domains together. Okay. What would you call this device?
Router.
Router. Great.
Router.
This is my student. They are doing. So we have a router there, we have one there, and we have one there. Fine. I mean, I'm just repeating. If I could copy, I'll just copy all of this and paste it. So there's no need for me to draw the. Good. That making sense. And then for now, let me not make it complex by introducing the telecoms part of this. Let me just put all of this on a common infrastructure or a common medium. And then that as well. And that medium or infrastructure will be internet. All right. So that's how they are connected.
Yeah.
All right. So together, let me use a different pen here. Together, all of this is a bigger kind of network, bigger than the domain. It doesn't have, they don't always have to be just three. Three simply means multiple systems. So they could be 7, they could be 8, they could be 20, 24. So together, all of this network is called what?
One wide area network.
Enterprise.
Or enterprise.
Cloud.
Enterprise network, that's what it's called. And that's where I'm going. I just needed to see, I needed you to see what an enterprise network is. So together, all of that network is called enterprise. So do you see the difference between a domain as a network and enterprise as a network? So which is bigger?
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Correct. That's the idea. Now, if all of this enterprise, this one is still, okay, let's retain this place as our head office. If this place remains our head office in New York, it means that the domain controller, it may not be called that, but the system playing the role of the domain controller remains here, right?
Yes.
And then this system, this network will also have its own domain controller, right? Because it's also a domain. And this network will also have its own domain controller because it's also a domain. So we have 1 domain controller, 2 domain controllers, 3 domain controllers, 4, 5, 6, 17 domain controllers. And then we have 1 domain controller that is the head of all the domain controllers. So all these domains working together as 1 domain, so to speak. What is it called?
Forest. Yep.
Forest. All right. So do you all understand the place of forest, domain, enterprise, and all that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, this domain controller is running what operating system? Specifically, I know it's generally server operating system, but for this domain, what operating system would you want to run?
Fine.
Linux.
No, server.
Linux.
Windows Server.
Windows Server, specifically, which one did you learn?
2016.
2016.
All right. 2016, good. So this one is running Windows Server 2016. 2016. All right, let me give you a clue before I ask you the final question. And once you get that, then I'm good to move on. Now I have look at this drawing. I have I have a, yeah, let me give. I just saw a road there, so let me use them. So I have this road that wide coming to the street. I have another road that wide coming to the street. I even have one here that wide, okay, from your street. And then about, okay, let's stop at 3. And then you are coming this way, you drive your car through that road. Your neighbor drives through that onto the street. And then this man drives that way. And then you all come to this junction, all right? The road that will be leading 10 cars from here, 10 cars from here, 10 cars from here. What do you expect this road to be? Should it be tiny as this, or it should be this wide so that it can contain all cars coming from this?
Wide.
It should be wider, right?
Yeah.
Right. Wider, yeah.
All right, makes sense, eh? All right, that is the clue I want to give you. This road must be wider in order to accommodate the 10, 10, 10 coming from here. This road should be able to take 30. Fine. Now, what OS should this? Are you still seeing my screen?
Yeah.
What
it should be Linux.
Linux.
It should be from enterprise operating system. All right? Maybe not necessarily Linux, but you are right. It should be some enterprise OS.
Very good.
You are right. All right? Enterprise OS. An example of enterprise OS would be, generally, examples of enterprise OSs are Unix-based operating systems, Unix-based operating systems. And there are not very many Unix-based operating systems. You'd have IBM kind of Unix, they will call it one name. I mean, not very many of them, Oracle kind of Unix, but the open source, the one that is generally available for anyone, not licensed to a particular company, not monopolized by a particular company. That Unix operating system that's open source and readily available is the one that is generally called Linux. Right? So within the context of what we are learning, this operating system will not be Windows operating system. It's going to be a more robust operating system, robust in every way, in terms of the infrastructure it can take, in terms of security, because this is a bigger network now, in terms of ruggedability, in terms of reliability, in terms of 1,000 people here, 1,000 people here, internet there, and it still stays gidigba. Nothing is shaking. That operating system will be used. And this is the next operating system that you are going to learn. You get it? So if as a Windows Server OS person, you are working here, as another Windows administrator, you are working here, but as a Linux administrator, you are working here, who would earn more? Who should earn more?
The Linux guy.
Linux guy. So you are moving to your next level. You're moving away from the $20, $25 per hour kind of job to $40, $45 per hour kind of job by the time you know Linux.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what's up.
I didn't hear
That's what I'm talking about.
That's the goal.
That's what's up.
Yes. So unless you feel you are not very confident yet and you need us to revise one or two things in Windows,
I claim it.
Just to make sure you are comfortable with Windows before you rush into the next class, this is what you should be doing. And to be honest with you, this is the core of enterprise networks. Linux is the real thing, the major thing that you need to do, you need to learn. Once you learn Linux, everything they are doing here, even things they do on the internet, they become, you have a foundation to understand the services. Without Linux, your foundation is not strong. And Windows is just enough for you to understand what's going on at this other end. Because once you know Linux, you are staying there. You are not going back to Windows. And then you might be wondering, if this is the core thing, then why did we have to go through Windows? yes, you needed to know what happens at this other end, even while you are here, because you'll be supporting this network, even though you are here at the real base. So you need to understand how it works. In any case, you don't even know where the job comes from. So Windows is fundamental, but it's not the real thing. I mean, at the level you are going to now, it's not the real thing. It was the real thing some 2-3 weeks ago. All right, so I needed to give you that foundation so that when we are learning Linux, you see where it fits in all of this. All right, so if there are no questions, I'll push you a bit harder until you get to a stage where you are no longer able to answer my questions. Yeah, then I'll know that, yes.
So I have a question.
Let's go, sir.
Yeah. Let me take your question.
The question is, in the other companies, I mean, on this same network we have on the whiteboard, the company we have in the branches we have in Atlanta and in Dallas, Texas, can we also run Linux on the domain over there? Can we make it Linux operating system as well?
Yes, you could. But you know that whatever you do, you have to have a reason for it.
Okay.
So you don't just pick Linux because Linux is robust and enterprise and all that. What's the real thing you want to achieve? So some things are better with Windows Server. Some things are better with Windows Server. So if, for example, you have your, okay, let me illustrate that. If you have your, different, so if you have this system here, all right, this is another machine. In this machine, you have created the corporate web page. Your corporate network is not the same thing. When we say corporate network, we're talking about Joseph. You've created your corporate web page and you have placed it here, right? So this web page is now available on this network, only on this network. So they can use the facilities on this system as if they were on the internet. However, they are not on the internet. They are only available only within this network. What kind of service?
Intranet.
Correct. So you do have an intranet. All of that English. You see how you beat them at interview? And then the interviewer is explaining long story. Just say, are you talking about intranet? And then he's wondering, oh, you even know the name. Okay, beautiful. Intranet. So your intranet here, why would you want your intranet here to run Linux? Server operating system with your IIS will do here just fine. You do just fine. You don't want it to run Linux because running Linux there is like hiring you. Haven't gone through this training to be what's the least kind of work anybody can hire to come and be a word processor to type.
Nah.
You are beyond that is life. So Linux will not fit you. Yes, you can run Linux, but running Linux on this one will work, but you'd have a hard time convincing me that it was the best choice. It was the best design. But look at the operating system, look at the web server here. You see this one? You see this one?
Wow.
Mute yourself because of your noise background. You want to talk it on. Or can you see this server here?
Yes, you can see.
Okay. Now this server here, because it's at the head office, will be browsed by all the 1,000 people there, and maybe even other people from the internet. What is that? That noise is persistent. You may want to shut yourself permanently so that people watching this video later can understand what we're doing. All right? In spite of your corporate people connecting to your web server there, even the whole world may also be connecting to this web server. In other words, we're not having just 30, 70, 200, 700 people connecting here. We're talking about millions, maybe millions of people connecting to this web server. Okay, so the traffic here is high. Windows Server operating system and IIS will not survive even 10,000 people concurrently trying to access it to crash. So this other web server here is not going to run Windows because of the heavy traffic and all of the heavy infrastructure is going to go through. It's going to run Linux. So if you now run Linux here and you run Win server here, well, good design, okay? So even though Linux can run on any of the corporates, you still want to maintain, if you want to do a good planning and a good design and not just use the wrong tools at the wrong places. All right?
Sorry, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Which is cheaper? Is it Linux or Windows Server?
What do you mean cheaper?
Like to install, like to purchase from the
No,
from
in terms of
Amazon and order
purchase,
from the store.
in terms of purchase, Linux is cheaper. Linux is open source. Open source means it's there.
Okay.
You don't have to buy it. However, you may want to pay. You may want to pay the
For
people
some specific.
Yeah, people who support.
Yeah, for other support. Yeah.
Yeah, the background.
So, I have a question.
Please hold on with your question. Hold on with your question. I want to identify that background noise. That person is disturbing us. It's distracting us. Where is that background noise coming from? When you talk, we hear your noise in the background. I know you always mute.
Maybe it's me.
Were you Wally, right?
It's Wally, yes.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
it's
using
Wally.
earpiece. That's the problem.
Yeah. So, what was I trying to explain? Server. Okay. Now you asked me which is more expensive, right? Which is cheaper?
Yes, sir.
And then ordinarily you expect me to jump and say this, but there are many things I'm considering, so I just can't jump and say this. Let me explain to you. Now, in terms of the cost of the software, Linux is as good as free. So there are different variants of Linux. There is a Red Hat Linux that's popular. We'll talk about that when we enter Linux. So depending on what variant, what distribution of it, generally called distro, you are using, you could be entirely free of charge, like the one you will be using. Because it does not come with support, it's entirely free. So from that perspective, it's cheap. However, it is more expensive to hire a Linux person to manage your Linux network than hiring a Windows person. You get it now?
Sir, because
So
Linux is more of a command line, the Windows is more of a GUI.
Yes. But that's not where I'm going now. Where I'm going is the question you asked about, which is cheaper. So you could be lured to use Linux, but the cost of maintaining and running Linux will be higher than that of Windows. Windows people, okay, you know the normal pyramid of wants and okay. So you have this, you have that, you have so this is Linux. There are more people there. I mean, sorry, this is Windows. There are more people there, and this is Linux. There are less people. And once you are here, the higher you go, the more you get paid. Linux people are somewhere around here, right? By the time you get to cloud and to DevOps, you'll be amongst. All right, so that is it. In terms of cost, one is cheaper, but in terms of expertise that you need to keep it running, to maintain it, then the other one is more expensive. All right, so I can take the other question. Yeah, there was a question coming in. I said I'll take later.
All right, so Ruben.
Okay, Ruben.
Yeah, my question is, let's say, for example, that in the Dallas network, we have people using the internet there that are more than, let's say, 500 persons there. would that require you to use a Linux OS operating system there?
Well, in theory, Microsoft Server Operating System claimed to be able to support up to 10,000 users. Of course, it is the practice that will now determine what you want to use. So there is no like strict answer. This is the answer. What you want to do normally, and then in practice, it is not likely that you got those 500. I mean, what the number you mentioned, you may not get it on day one. You started with 3 people, 7 people, 15 people, and then it grew to a level where you realize this network is no longer as fast as it used to be. I didn't have this problem 3 months ago. Now I'm having this problem. At that point, you know that, oh, there is need to do something. So you would know when you would know when the person you like begin to misbehave. You know, this is not the person I like. Have you?
Okay, sir.
You will know that this is time to play around with some things. And of course, you are still attending training, you are still developing. So there's no rigid number. It will show. It will show. But if you are going to get a network of millions of people outrightly, then definitely. Or you are building a network from scratch that you envisage would. In fact, most of these problems will be taken care of in cloud. There's something called auto-scaling. There's something called auto-scaling, so that in cloud, even if you originally built a network of 5 people, all right? Okay, Zoom, for example, was originally built for a few thousand people. Before COVID, I've been hearing adverts about Zoom. I didn't even know what it was. And then all of a sudden, because of the era we're in now, the usage of Zoom jumped from 600,000 to 2 million overnight. If it wasn't for cloud, do you think that would have been possible? How come a network that was planned and built for 600 persons, all of a sudden did not only comfortably accommodate 2 million people, still remain stable and even assimilated? We should be talking about billions of people right now connecting like we are doing now over Zoom. There are features and services that have already been put in place in cloud that will solve these little problems we are trying to. In practice, you don't really go identifying and solving these problems one by one. They are already solved for you, but it's just good that you understand that this is what's happening in the background. All right, so it's not something you really bother so much about in terms of at what point do I need to switch from Windows to Linux? When do I need? You don't bother so much about it. You will know when it's time to move.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I have a question, sir.
All right.
My question is, okay, now, like, let's say we have an organization of about 500 or 600 people, and now you have like the Linux operating system in the headquarters, and now like the other operating system that are going to be connecting to the Linux. Compulsorily, must it be the Windows Server 2006 Windows Server, or you can also use the Windows Server Edition, which you use as a client to connect to the Windows Server, or must it be just Windows Server connecting to the Linux?
No, I didn't get the other part, the last part of the question. Compulsorily, must it be Windows Server Operating System or what?
Or the Windows Server Edition that you use as a client to connect to the Windows Server, or can you use both to connect to the Linux server, to the Linux operating system as the head for the domain controller and everything?
What are you connecting to the? No, I don't get your question. Hold on.
Okay, no, like,
hold on.
Now, okay, yeah.
Okay, explain further. Let me see if I can do it.
Okay, now you said like now upgrading, like you want to, like, if you make the Linux operating system as the major operating system for the server and everything in the headquarters, and you make the Windows Server 2016 or 2019 as the client connecting to the Linux for information and files and everything. So like the Windows Standard Edition that we used as a client connecting to the Windows Server now, we won't.
What is Windows Standard Edition? What is Windows Standard Edition?
The other operating system we use to connect as client to the Windows Server.
That is Windows Enterprise.
Yeah, Window Enterprise. Sorry, yeah, Window Enterprise. Yeah. So we won't need that anymore, right? We just need to we just need to use just the Windows Server.
No. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. That's not what I'm saying. Any system can connect to your Linux server. But what I'm saying is, in terms of this network, as a corporate network, the governor of this network is the domain controller here.
Okay.
I'm not saying that a client here cannot directly connect.
Okay.
Any system can connect to anything.
I got you.
Yeah, but in terms of the governorship within this state, this is a state. This is a state. Everything together, working together is federal. Every state has a governor. All right. So this is the governor here. This is the governor here. So any system, whether it's server or client OS, can always connect to Linux.
Okay.
Well, normally how things work is, how we resolve that issue is, look at this. Remember this this thing here? Okay, it was here. Look at it. You remember that? Packets will only go to the router when we need to move packets out of the network. So any other packet that is not coming here would hit the router and then to return and say, no, we are not going out. Go back to, so there's a gate man here. All right?
Okay.
There's a gate man here. But when the router takes it and sees that the destination packet is outside, then it adds its own protocols and then it routes it to the internet, and through the internet, it goes to whatever it's doing. Let me stop there. But you get the difference now.
No, I get it now. Thank you.
Yeah, anything can connect to anywhere, but in terms of who is the organ here that things must be reported to first before we know what to do. That is when I mentioned the server operating system. And no other operating system can be server OS except the three main ones: Windows, Linux, and what's the third one? What's the third common OS?
Unix or IBM.
Windows, all of that, we count them. Okay, instead of Linux, let's call it Unix. In other words, Linux is only one of many Unixes. And then the other one will be OS. OS, what's OS?
Mac OS.
Apple products. Yes, for Mac products.
Mac OS.
Mac, yes. OS. So these are the three popular operating systems. So when you mention server, and I'm watching out for the server operating system, I'm watching out for this name. Many other names outside of this, I'm not familiar with. So even if you say IBM, Unix, whatever other name, they are likely to fall under this one here. But Windows is not very, the varieties are not many. The Windows Server operating system, what is Windows NT? Windows NT used to be the version of Windows 2016 we are doing today as of 1999. 1990, in the 90s generally. Then up to 2000 and 2001, then Windows 2000 came out. But they are all the same version. I mean, they are all essentially server OSs, and a higher number is just an improvement on the lower number. I started using server operating systems since the days of Windows NT. All right. So then I started teaching Windows operating system, server operating system with Windows 2000. So even though I'm teaching Windows 2016 now, it's very little or no different, just little improvements. Essentially, it's fundamentally different. All right. Questions?
Someone's at the door.
Someone's at the door? Okay, I'll let them in. To look up where he's. I'll let them in. Okay, I said I was going to stretch you a little further on this, right? Let's see. Let's see who can, who'll be the last man to say. All right, so you already know this is a router, that's a router, another router. All right. Yeah. Let me ask you something. If you know it, to continue. If you don't know it, to stop there. Now, what's this area called?
That's the internet.
Correct. Now, if I have When I have signal or data coming into the router, once it gets to the router and the router accepts it and then it's getting out, that data that came in is no longer called data. After it leaves the router, the level of the router, it's now called packets. So when I say packets, I am meaning that data is getting out of the network through the outside world. All right, so the data coming into, the packet coming into the internet from here and going there, all right? Is it safe? Is that data safe on the internet? Is it secure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because the router will give it the router is a gateway to the router is a gateway to wherever the packet is going to. The router has to identify the other gateway. So they're talking through gateways, like more like IP addresses. So it's safe. Because IP,
that
like you
doesn't
said,
make it
IP
safe.
address.
It doesn't make it secure. The routers are gateway does not mean that make that packet secure.
Or let me use
this
the
packet
word.
can be hijacked. No, your answer is not correct. There's no need for
Okay.
This packet can be hijacked at any time.
It's not
and
safe.
then the internet is a public place. Always note and remember that the internet is a public place and anything going through it can be, unless it is extra protected, in the consciousness that the internet is a public place, it can be hijacked and
anything can happen to it.
Anything can happen to it. So that's it. So what do you do to packets before you transmit them through the internet so that your mind is at rest and you feel that, oh, because I have done that, it is not safe?
You can do encryption.
Encryption. Correct. Encryption. How do you encrypt packets? Hold on. That person, you're not the only one in class. Hold on. That's what you want, right? That's what you want. Let's give others a chance. What are their faces? Where's my video? Look at my video here. All right, Oyewole was starting well. Said there are different ways. I'm the only one on video, right? Look at my class. I'm going to take myself off video. Cannot be looking at me and I'm not seeing you. See me, Dario Molly.
I'm in a dark place, so you can see me even if I put the video on.
We can use, I think one of the common, this is Dari, sir.
Dari, where are you? Dari. You're not on video, right?
Okay, let me switch. I'm in a dark place, I'm in a very quiet actually.
Okay, no problem. Just carry on, just go. Yes, carry on there, I can see you.
Okay. I think one of the commonest tools we use now is the VPN, sir.
Correct.
Encryption over the internet.
What protocol does VPN use to do encryption?
I think it should be SSL. I'm not too sure.
TLS or STLS.
And those are
SMTP.
Are also forms of encryption. When you say many ways, those are also ways. You learn all of this just watching.
What do you want?
We'll learn them all. Well, I'm just testing your colleagues to see. So thank God they have missed. There's one question they don't know now, so we are come back. So none of you got the protocol. Don't Google. Don't Google. I believe that person.
What do you want?
Ask me questions. I don't need googling. I really want to hear from you.
It's salad. How much? Okay.
I will not take that answer. You could Google. Why do you have me? Let's go and Google all the things I should be teaching you. All right. So I will not give you that one. I believe you Googled it. Was that Dan?
Okay,
Was that Daniel? Daniel, was that you?
Oh, okay.
Sir, the VPN, I guess what VPN does is like it tries to
don't worry about what it
encrypt.
Don't worry about what it does.
IP addresses, right?
We'll do it. That was just me overstretching it. So let's come back to Before I lose my trainees and they say they don't understand what we're talking about. So let's come back to class. And don't goggle when I ask you questions. If you don't know it, you don't know it. Don't deceive me that you know it, and that will not give me opportunity to teach other people. Don't goggle when I ask you questions, please. All right? Don't find that. I ask you to test if you know it, not the first person to goggle it. All right. So if you understand all of that, then I'm happy that you are following. Now, if you do not understand that, please ask questions so that this will make a good foundation, because next time when we want to do Linux, we just go straight to Linux. We've already explained the place of the Linux that we're trying to learn. There must be somebody here who is not understanding everything we're talking about. Who is that person? Forma, do you understand everything?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me ask questions now to find out if you do understand. What do you think an enterprise network is? Somebody's talking about network, one is saying domain, the other one is saying enterprise. What's the relationship? What are they talking about? What's the difference?
Enterprise.
I think that.
Yeah, Forma.
I think the domain is smaller, the enterprise is bigger.
That's good. That's one point. Any other point that you want to use to distinguish and differentiate between them? That's the most obvious point. That's correct. You're correct on that. All right. Somebody else view it from a different angle and tell me what you see.
For me, enterprise is a group of different domains coming together.
Yes, you could look at it like that. All right, good. Any other view to it?
Enterprise is like a group of networks from different regions in the same organization coming together, getting information from themselves.
Getting information from what?
From the headquarters. All the networks coming together from maybe different regions, and whether it's domain controller or anything, coming together, sourcing for information from the same network, maybe the headquarters or something. That's why I really understand.
Yeah, makes sense. Good. I'll take that. Yes, that's really
okay. Let me try again.
Elementary version. Yeah, you were right the first time, Informer, unless you want to add something to it.
Okay. I wanted to say like the enterprise accommodates other domains.
Yes. So the same thing, but said in different ways. Yeah. Hi, you are just watching us. Are you with us?
Enterprise is a more bigger network than the domain.
Yes, it is. All right. So that's about enterprise.
The enterprise has more resources than the normal domain. Maybe probably more infrastructures.
Okay.
Than normal domain.
Okay, normal domain. What is abnormal domain?
No, like I say, okay. I say the domain,
the corporate network.
And the corporate network and the enterprise.
Domain is correct. It's just the normal that is confusing me. So I wanted to know.
Okay, it's domain. Yeah.
So I like that introduction of more infrastructure. In IT, don't talk too much. Once I say you are good, stop there. Otherwise, you mess up even the good.
Yes, sir.
We don't talk too much in IT. We just mention the key points and then we relax. And then we leave the other person to say, wow. Like your friend was doing wow. Was it Daniel that your friend was doing wow? Who was that person?
Peter.
So, wasn't me. Peter, okay, Peter. Infrastructure, yeah, I like that approach. Infrastructure, yes. So what do you mean by infrastructure? Daniel.
Okay. Infrastructures are the equipment that we use to link up devices together.
Go straight to examples. Forget English. What do you mean by infrastructure?
Infrastructure. We have switch, we have routers. We have,
infrastructure will be switches, routers. There was
and
More.
the
Any other
PCs.
person? Any other person? There are no PCs in infrastructure.
PC.
Socket.
Cables.
Client and server.
Network printers.
Printers, network printers.
Servers. If you are defining infrastructure, was it not in this class that I said the first thing to mention is server?
The server, yes.
Servers, computers.
The components that make up the enterprise.
These are network infrastructure. So if you give me to list them in that, I'll say servers, routers, those are key network infrastructures. So there'll be more numbers of this infrastructure for enterprise. You are all right, you are all right. So that's good. You do understand what enterprise means. You really do understand. 4 more minutes of asking questions. There are people that are just observers in this class. They don't, I wonder when they are there. Nick, I will not call you again because I've called you so many times, you are not responding. Kindly Gobo, are you there?
Yeah, I had noise in my background before. That's why I didn't pick up. My kids were making noise.
Who is that?
Nike.
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 Okay, Nike. Nike, what's the question I had in mind? Nike, packets. Packets transmitted over the internet are not secure. In order to guarantee the security of packets transmitted between your head office and your branch office, what do you suggest? What do you suggest? Let me start. That to secure those packets.
It can be encrypted.
It can be encrypted using
VPN.
VPN connection, correct. All right, so what else have we talked about that I need to test you on? What else? Let me see. Okay, we talked about links. So how do I frame a question around them? Anybody, what's a forest? When we say forest, we are speaking Microsoft language strictly. It's not a general language. So forest domain there. What is a forest?
A
forest is a collection of domains.
No, forest is actually the primary domain that other domains are connected to.
No, it's more of a collection of domains. The first one was not correct.
Okay.
Yes, but you do need the domain that you described now in order to have a forest. But forest is that. So you know what a forest is? A real forest. So you have like a big tree, the Iroko tree, the real one, and then you have other small trees. So forest is not just the big tree because it's big. It's the collection of all the trees in right there.
Collection of domains.
I would say the forest is a server in which other server from other domain rely on.
Sorry, what's that? No, the first definition is okay. Well, I'm fine with the first one. It's a collection of. There's a collection group of domains. That's what forest of domains working together. Of course, there will be the father of all the domain controllers. But the father of all the domain controllers is not the forest. It is a group of the domains run by that domain controller. That is the forest. All right. Awesome. Good performance. If everybody understood what we just talked about, then you are one step. You have laid one more brick on top of this building. You are on top of this house we are building. All right.
So I have just one question before we go.
Okay.
Okay. I was wondering on the IP address that we used for the configuration of the server.
Mm-hmm.
We used 192.168.110 and all those stuff. Like, is it just we just sit and look for a number? We just I don't understand why we use specific numbers like 192.168.
Good
Can't
question.
I use 17?
Good question, Daniel. We're going to talk about IP addressing specifically.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, we'll just use that one from the bunch of IP addresses that are possible because right now you do not even know about IP addresses. You don't even know how we got that number and anything. Don't worry. When you get there, you get to that level where we'll build you and you become, because once you understand IP addressing to the level we're going to learn it, you now also become a network engineer. IP addressing is the core thing in networking that makes you a network engineer. Right now, you are too early to learn that. Just take that one for now, until we now open the room. And then we'll show you all the possible IP addresses. We'll tell you this has to use this one, this has to use this one. Anytime you say this one, this is this. We'll talk about it.
Okay,
your question
the door,
makes sense.
sir.
The door?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, Tunde.
I have a very small problem. After all the classes, I try to go back to the start and reconfigure everything from the start. I got to to merge the system that from the client server to the main server. But the IP address is not entering. I've tried to do everything via Google, YouTube for 48 hours now. But if I'm unable to, I might have to contact you privately to ask for your guidance on how
No,
to
don't contact
go.
me privately. Put it on the group.
Okay,
What
I'll
is the
put it in
problem?
the group.
What is the problem you're having?
Right now, I just had to reload everything again because once it
What was
gets
the
to
problem
that
you had?
place, when it's about to register the client system on the main server, on the domain server, where I'm to change the system name.
Hold on. Hold on. If you are not speaking the same, if we are not speaking the language, I'm going to have it difficult to understand you. But I'll be guessing what are you trying to say. So settle down.
Okay,
Calm down and explain to me what the problem is.
Register the system. Okay, this is the point, sir. At the point I am to register the system on the domain controller.
Okay, what you are saying is at the point when you want to join the client to the domain.
To the domain. It comes with the
error message. What's the error? What does the error?
Is not recognized. It always comes with I can't remember, but it always comes with domain distance is not recognized. So I go back to the IP address.
Hold on. These are the possible things you should check before you come back and post the problem. You know what DNS is?
Yes, sir.
Have you configured your DNS server on the domain controller? Did you put an IP address there? What IP address did you put there?
192.168.110.
So what is the IP address of your domain controller?
My domain controller is 192.168.110.
All right. So the number you enter as IP address for your DNS server is the same IP address of your domain controller, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct. On the client side, did you enter, did you statically assign IP addresses? And what is the IP address?
The IP address for the client is 192.168.112.
Okay. And then did you enter DNS address?
Yes, which is 192.168.110.
Right, so that sounds good. Almost, and that's where the problem comes from. All right.
Yes.
And then you are sure you checked your cable, you configured your host, you configured your network adapter for both systems to be host only?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is what you do. Try changing the name of your client. Change the name. What's the current name of your client?
Right now, I've actually restarted the whole process again from the beginning because I actually wanted to see whether I made an input error from the beginning. So I'm starting all over again right now.
Yeah, it's okay to start all over again, but it would have been fun trying to troubleshoot this particular one and finding what the problem was. It would have really helped us to learn.
I'll give that a shot. If I don't get, I'll put it in a group. Maybe somebody else can actually help me out as well.
Yeah, I'm always I'm there watching and seeing everything going on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Once one person, 2 persons, 3 persons try and you are not
and
you are not getting it, I'll come in. Yeah.
So let me add one thing.
So far, it looks like you are doing it right. Yeah, somebody wants to post something. Yeah.
When you were trying to join it, where you where you go into your client, your client host. Did you enter when you enter where you change it from work group? You need to type in administrator before you join it. Did you type in administrator before you join it?
It's not able taking him there. It's not getting there because of
It's
the
not
error.
getting there. Rather to
The
get
error
me
will not
to
like.
the error comes before that one.
That's it.
And initially, I scaled through from the first class, initial class. But when I went back, I started having that issue.
Yeah, another reason, the reason you started having, well, I don't know per se, but changing it could be that the domain, the name of the client you are trying to use is already there registered in the domain controller, and it's saying this mine's already here. Why are you trying to join it? So change the name so that the domain controller sees it as you will not have that problem now that you're starting afresh.
Okay.
Or just keep it in real life troubleshoot. Just change the name from client 1 to client 12, and then just marry them.
Thank you, sir.
What I normally do if I have any challenge, I go back to the video, I watch it over and over, and then from there I see everything.
Yeah, that's the idea. Awesome. Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah.
So I want to take us back to this internet, intranet, and extranet thing. Like when I was working, in the branches, we were connected to like the intranet. At least that's what I understand from this, because we could only work like on the bank's domain. We couldn't browse externally.
That's an intranet, yeah.
Work both on the bank domain and outside the bank, like use internet, browse the internet. So I think there was a time they deployed one solution that required us to like connect to the internet before we could like enroll customers on that platform. So this IT guy just came and enabled just one system in the whole branch, which was a system we are supposed to use to enroll customers. And he enabled just that one system to access the internet between a particular time and a particular time. I just want to know what did he do on that system at that point?
Oh, okay, good. Let's quickly, that's a practical one. That's not a talk. Let's quickly load that. Yes.
Okay. It might be that the user was permitted, or the IP address was permitted, or the client, that's the client computer itself, was permitted to access the internet. That's one thing that happened. So one of these three things is what they did.
All right. So do you see what do you see? Do you see me pointing to my domain controller?
No, we can only see your board, whiteboard.
Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, share this. All right, so that's my domain controller, right? So I started. All right, so actually it's so simple. On the domain controller, something was already done before the guy came to you. So let me show you what was done at the domain controller, so that that particular system is able to access. Now, which network infrastructure enables a system to connect to the internet?
NAT.
Yeah, NAT is correct, but NAT is only a service. That service is resident on a device. The device on which NAT is resident is the router. So the infrastructure will be a router. You get it now, the person who said no.
Yeah, okay, I get it. Right.
All right. So the router is recognized on the network by what parameter?
The IP.
The IP address.
IP address.
All right. So what they would do to enable that situation is to take that particular computer and give that particular computer access to the. Now there are many routers. which is the real router that connects to the internet that I drew there. But I mean, the functions of routers, if we list 100, we are still counting. But this particular function is the function that requires, that enables connection to the internet. That router, that specific router, and yeah, it's called a gateway router, you may not know. Gateway router. Gateway will connect you, or internet gateway, more specifically. Internet gateway. All right, so while this is loading for me to show you, the actual thing that was done there is the internet gateway IP address was granted access to only one computer. But everything we've shown you was about user. Let me also show you that instead of granting user the access to internet, you can actually grant computer access to the internet, so that irrespective of which user wants to connect, he must come to that computer. All right. So grant user computer access to the internet, give that computer access to the router gateway. I mean, internet gateway in the router. And then this thing will make more sense later on, but for now, let's just take it. But at the end of the day, you're actually going to design your own network that is able to do all of this in cloud and implement it using AWS. Well, let me quickly show you now. And then, who is the first person to make? My server is still loading. I can't make it faster. You'll just be patient. It's working to update. Is it really updating? Is this computer connected to the internet?
We can't even see your screen.
Ah. Okay, let me share my screen so that you see what I'm doing. You see my screen?
Oh yeah, we see it now.
Yes, yes, sir.
So this is what I've been waiting for. Working on updates. All right, so is it really updating or it just wasting my time? Let's see, settings. Because updates means connected to the internet network. Adapter 1 host today, adapter 2 NAT. Okay, it is connected to the internet as long as NAT is configured. It's actually updating. In that case, what do? We just be patient until it happens. All right. All right, but the theoretical answer should already give you the clue as to what was done. I'm not able to do it because we don't have a live router, we don't have it, but it's just there, it's not from the domain. All right, so what's the topic of our presentation today? I don't have the presentation. What's the topic? What are we presenting? The assignment on the group. What's the assignment? What are you supposed to make presentation on?
Intranet for Faculty of Law.
Oh yes, that's it. All right. So of course you don't have the whole 5 minutes now because we are so many. But just raise your hand and then we'll call you to make a short presentation, demonstrating to me that in this case I'm the day. That yes, you understand. Oh, please read that question to us so that we understand what we're making. Bede, read that question. All right, anyone can read the question.
You are IT consultant to the University of Lagos. You have just been briefed on the requirement to set up Intranet for the Faculty of Law. This will keep all academic resources local within the faculty's IT infrastructure, yet make them available over the faculty.
Can you hear him? Can everyone hear him? You're kind of faint on my side.
Yes. You are IT consultant. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Okay. You are IT consultants to the University of Lagos. You have just been briefed on the requirements to set up Intranet for the Faculty of Law. This will keep all academic resources local within the faculty's IT infrastructure, yet make them available over the faculty network to only domain users. people would be able to browse and access documents as web pages like they were on the internet. For some reason, the university does not want to involve any third-party apps. They will be relying entirely on Windows Server and the contractor's Windows administration skills. You have just 5 minutes to convince the dean and his board that you have a perfect understanding of the faculty requirements and to proceed to explain how simple it will be for you to implement and deliver the project in just a matter of days. Let them know about any other IT experts that you need to come on board while you serve as the infrastructure architect for the project.
Awesome. Good question. All right. Who's going to take a shot? Nick, we didn't forget you. Just our server is still loading, so I'll let you know once it is. By the time being,
Do we have to ask a question or just give like
whatever approach? All I'm interested in is just something kind of on the lift interaction to show me that you understand this whole thing. You understand what we're trying to do.
Okay, so from this presentation, letting them know about any other IT experts that may need to come on board while you serve as an infrastructure architect for the project, you can definitely let them know that they definitely need a Windows Server administrator. So I think that's why I can see.
If they need a Windows Server administrator, what are you there for? What would you be doing? Why are they giving you this job?
What they will be needing is somebody who is probably a web designer, sorry, so to say.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Yes, they will. I believe they will need a web designer. So what are you? What will be your role?
Okay, my role is to configure the IIS to make the web server
IIS. What are they called?
available. The server administrator.
All right. So your role will be server administrator. Correct. More interactions, more questions. Yes, you are right. Your role is to configure IIS and all of that. Correct. But in one word, basically you'll be
the server administrator.
You also need a network administrator who's going to configure the computers in the department together.
Sorry?
So you might also need like a network administrator who's going to network the computers in the department together. You can actually do the Windows Server administrator. I don't know.
Networking. I'm in class. All right. So networking. Okay, good. But even though we're assuming that the networking is already in place, maybe we did not assume that, but good. That's good. That's not your work. You just show that you know that that's not your work. Awesome. These are relevant questions. More relevant questions.
Okay, let me take a shot at it. I tried to write it out in form of presentation, like you said.
Yes, you can go ahead if you have a prepared presentation.
Okay, so from the brief provided, we'll be working within the faculty's existing IT infrastructure. So the first thing would be to evaluate the existing infrastructure and configure the following if they are not in place.
And configure what? We can barely hear you. I mean, there's so much distortion. We hear you, but it's distorted.
Okay, so I was saying that we will configure the following if they are not in place.
Okay.
A Windows Server operating system.
Okay.
And then promote that to become the faculty of Law's domain controller.
Okay. So
this domain controller will manage the faculty network. And then we would also configure the following this domain controller, ADBS, DNS, and DHCP.
Okay. You actually already configured all that before it became a domain controller. So that should have come. Okay. All right. So, beautiful so far. Beautiful so far. Let's Who can take over from there so that we don't give all the answers from one person? Where are the people? Let me look for them.
Okay,
beautiful so far. Okay.
Let me try, sir.
Gbede is saying something first.
Yes, so we also create a DHCP primary and DNS primary before we can now create the web services, which is IIS, in order to allow fault tolerance, and so that it can also be available to all all departments under the Faculty of Law. And it's going to take approximately 2 days and two system
No. You are not talking IT at all. I've not taken anything from what you said. Start again. You said DHCP and DNS what?
DHCP primary and DNS primary. You said I should continue from where you stopped.
So and you already have the domain controller. You already have the domain controller. So why are you installing DHCP primary again? Whatever that means. The fact that you have the domain controller means that
so there will be
DDS, DNS, and DHCP have already been configured.
Okay, IIS web services will be installed and configured.
Yeah, that was where he stopped. So continue from there then. Yeah, continue from there.
So on the server, web designer will come to complete his work to be up and running.
Web designer will come and complete his work. Correct. At least the mention of web designer, that at that point you now need somebody to join you to work as a web developer. Okay, good. That's what I'm taking from your presentation. Good.
Hello, sir.
All the 2 days and all of that, they are not technical things. All right, but beautiful. I got something. Yes, Kayode, you are too far from your mic. I barely hear you.
Oh, sorry, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Let's see if we can manage.
Okay. You can also instruct the web designer to upload the web for you.
He's uploading for himself now. He designed it. Your own is to prepare the IIS.
Okay. So after preparing the IIS, you can now instruct them to upload.
Let me try.
All right, this one is clear at Badero, right? So.
Yes. So I was thinking we would create a user account that would give restrictions and access to some domain users on the internet.
Yes, that's correct. But do you achieve that by creating user accounts? How do you achieve that? What we are trying to do is relevant, is good. We want to restrict users to faculty domain users only, but it's not by creating user account. How do you achieve that? You already have user accounts.
There will be need for organizational units for each department.
Giving appropriate permission.
What does organizational unit has to do here? How does it solve the problem of? Remind me, I forgot. Organizational units. What's the relevancy? No. Organizational units is not. It's not the thing to create. The question about you want to restrict access because the requirement is only Faculty of Law members. By members, we mean domain users, people who genuinely have accounts on in the domain. You should be able to access it. How do you implement that? How do you implement that?
To the user policy. User policy.
Go to the tools, users and computer.
Policy and security.
Then restrict.
You can create different organizational units for different departments in the law department, because there are different faculties, or be different departments in law department. So what you do is create
the management policy.
Create organizational units for the different faculties under the Department of Law. They add them into, which is a group kind of, but it's a higher group. OU is more of like an higher group, not just, so it's easier for you to access them as a group. Like, like the whole Faculty of Law, it's the department.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's not my interest. My interest is how do I make that organizational unit? How do I give them restrict the access? How do I achieve the purpose? I don't see how.
You can use the GOP, that's the group policy, to restrict access to whatever is coming in.
So nobody practice this thing. None of you practice.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Through the authentication.
Correct. Who said that?
Informer Ebele.
Oh, Informer again.
Oh
God.
Sir, I said it before. I mentioned it before a few minutes ago.
I didn't hear you. Who was that? Who said it?
Simi.
Let's clap for Informer.
Yes, sir. I mentioned it before.
Simi, it was Informer that I heard. I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Authentication. What's the work of authentication? That's the work of authentication. And we did it. Yes, that is it. Informer, you win the contract.
Jesus.
She won the contract because the things that all of you
won.
Huh? Timmy?
I mentioned it before. I said it before.
You mentioned it.
But we didn't hear you.
I was mentioning user policy while Timmy mentioned authentication. So I
Thank you, my brother.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Timmy, you are in.
We will share the contract.
Timmy, you are in.
We'll share it now.
Is it?
50-50.
So beautiful, beautiful. So what are we forgetting? Somebody must say something that if you didn't mention that, we will not remember that was it. Mention something else that you want to introduce just to. But authentication is very, very important because without that, you'll not be able to do that restriction. All right. So is there something we're forgetting? An aspect of the project that we have not talked about? How we'll implement?
Other contractors to be involved?
What would they be doing? Somebody already said networking guys to be involved.
Okay.
Networking guys to be involved. Web developer. So who else?
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't in the class at that time.
What about security? Then you
authentication and security. Authentication is under security, unless what level of security are you talking about? Just remind us. You just might be forgetting.
I was thinking maybe.
That guy is so French. Who is the person talking? So French. So you were thinking, I'm looking for you. So.
But under authentication, there is anonymous and basic. So we implement that by using basic authentication.
Anonymous is not authentication. Anonymous means it's porous. It's not authenticated yet. It is when you introduce basic or Windows or any other one. That is when you are actually implementing authentication. When it's on anonymous, you have not implemented it. It means anybody who browses will be able to see. But when it's not basic, it means that you need to enter your username and password in order to be granted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you get to the authentication, then under the authentication, there's anonymous and then basic. So anonymous allows the everyone to access it, while basic allows the people that has the account to access it.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you said, but I'm saying when it is in anonymous, then you have not implemented authentication. Just like you leave the door open, anybody can come in. So there's no security.
Yes.
You only say it is security. There's security when there's somebody at the door now saying, who are you, before you are allowed in. So when the door is left open, anybody can come in. That's anonymous. But when you check basic, then you have not implemented authentication. That is when they will check who is coming in. Who else is here? So all the presentations that you prepared, only 3 or 4 or 5 persons.
Something.
Yes.
Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who is that?
This is Abimbola.
All right, Abimbola.
Okay, I'm thinking since there'll be resources to be shared among the students in the faculty, I think there should be a file server in place, or maybe a system for the maybe document or what will I say? That lecture notes to be shared among the students.
Okay.
The website.
Okay. Yes. Yes, you are right. But actually, what I had in mind was this will be the content of the web pages that are being posted, not in form of documents, but just in form of information. Like.
Okay.
Yeah. That is the whole essence of setting up the web pages. Yeah. But if you are extending that further, yes, then you are right. So you ask them, is it just the information? Every information that will be shared will be entered on the web pages, and it will serve as notice board. Not the other one will be a bit more complex than just this simple eye. That one will be like you will need additional services to implement the kind of sharing that Abibola is talking about. But let's keep it simple. But you're right, though. You would need a file server if you were sharing documents, or at least the DFS kind of authentication, DFS kind of sharing that I'm going to copy and send to you so that you practice by yourself. Even the ones that are supposed to practice, not everyone practices. So I'll copy, send that one, then practice it, and then if you have issues, you can resolve it. Well, essentially, you've mentioned everything well, as many things that I can remember that are relevant for this project. You mentioned you will need a network person, you will need a web developer, you would set up your domain controller by setting up the storage services, and then you will load your IIS on it, and then your web developer will take over from there and upload the web page that you have developed for this project. And then you go ahead and do authentication to ensure only authorized persons are able to log in. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. All right. So that's about it. So it's our server up now. Let's quickly. Can you see my server?
Yes.
All right.
Don't follow.
All right. So I'm going to close a bit early so I can copy and paste that for you, and then you would have time to practice. So it looks like you have strictly 2 hours, but you need to practice. I'm going to give you like 20 minutes of my time for you to practice. Because once we are leaving Windows, we are not coming back to Windows again. And then do you need like a couple of, let's take a couple of days off before we let's take a break.
We still miss a video from the Windows. We still miss a video from the Windows lecture.
You missed the video.
Yeah. The one that everybody didn't get. Lecture 10.
Lecture 10? That should be
Yeah.
up. But before, let me come back to that. But before I get there,
I got lecture 10.
let us take a break after Windows so that everybody can consolidate and know Windows. The nursing mothers will take a break, you know. Let us take a break, then we'll come back to start a new course.
And the working fathers.
I think it makes sense.
Yes,
please. Yes,
I think
it makes
maybe
sense. So we can
we'll come back next Sunday.
Yes. It's not good for me to just dish out, and you are not practicing.
Yes.
You know?
Maybe we'll come back next Sunday.
Yeah. Maybe take a 1 week break. All these projects go and do them. I'll still be there. I'll still be there to support. If you still have problems, keep posting.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Just make sure you
So
know.
would it be a good idea to have a quick revision on the Windows before we
No, it's not a good idea because I've already dished, the videos are there. I'm merely repeating what happened.
That's why we have 1 week to practice now.
Not even a quick 1 hour.
It's not a good idea because the videos are already there and I've already done it. So your work now, I've done my work. Your work is go and practice. If time is your problem, you close late, you are a nursing father, you are a nursing mother, take 1 week off, go back to those videos one by one, practice them one by one. Then if you have issues, paste them on the group and then we'll attend to issues. Anything other than that, I'm spoon-feeding you and you would not learn from spoon-feeding.
Makes a lot of sense, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We need that.
So are you going to work on the missing videos?
Let's talk about video. Let me quickly demonstrate this thing so that it doesn't. Then we'll come back now and talk about. Give me the list of videos and then we'll look at that. All right, so do you see my, do you see, what am I trying to do? You see this place. So I go to tools, right? Yeah. What I was, okay, domain controller and services. So you see this place? New, Nika, do you see this place? Do you see my mouse?
Yes, yes.
All right, so where's the new? New, okay, let me open the users. New. New what? New what? Say this way. Top right. Okay, sometimes it's there. So new. New user, new printer, new group, new computer. All right, you can set up a new computer from there, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for access. Where is that access? Properties. All right. Accounts. Log on to the following computers. People should be able to log on, so we will take that computer. Okay, no computer is on now, but if we had our client on, our client will be showing here. Let's see if we can put it on our. Nike, you take this as assignment, right?
Okay. Okay.
So go to Active Directory users and computers. All right, so go to users and then right click and take properties. No. Oh, this it's not what I was. Okay. Okay. Computers. Okay, client one is there. Beautiful. Okay, I was looking for a computer to say, do not trust this computer for delegation, location managed, dialing. Operating system, member of. Okay. All right, so finally, I don't know why I was hiding. So the same thing you would do for accounts, but this time you now say, instead of working on this user, all right, so where is it? Address, accounts. So this person takes this user or a group of users and say they can only log on to this computer. All right, they take the following computer and enter the IP address of the computer. All right, or they take the name of the computer from the list that is appearing here. Well, I wanted to show you how that computer is connected to a particular router. But if it's on here, no problem at all, because we're only trying to use limited resources within lab to do what we should be doing online. So by the time you get online, you are going to see all the services where you can just click and attach. But all the same, let me see if I can accounts. All right, so what are the, hold on, let me load the client. I need client to appear. Where's my client? Our client. All right. Let's load that one. This is not a race scenario. In race scenario, instead of each computer having its own NAT, both computers will be connected to the same NAT instead of two NATs. All right, so, oh, the same Abimbala, right? What's that password again? Monday
09 hash.
Monday 09 hash.
Hash. That was the hash Java. All right, so that system is off. So the domain controller should be able to see it. The controller should be able to see it. Share what? Where's a domain controller here? All right, so we have a, let's maximize this. All right, so tools, Active Directory domains and computers. Okay.
We can see your screen, sir.
Okay, let me share. Share that. All right, so can you see now?
Yes.
Active domain users. Here's domain users. Domain users. Domain users. Domain.
It's further down, a little downward. No, downward,
Okay,
close to
yeah.
enterprise, yes.
That's it, yeah. All right, so properties. Okay, not there. Let's take that one, properties. Okay, so for this person, he should be able to log in to computer name. What's our client's name? Remember the name of our client?
Olu.
No, here. This client is,
Abimbola.
no, not the user, the client.
Client one.
Our client.
Client one.
Let's quickly find out. I forgot. This PC. This PC. Oh, client one. Okay, right there. I saw it. Client one. Where's my machine? So to Olu account, log on to the computer that is connected to the internet, and that computer is client one. Add. All right. Now you should be able to log on through that computer only from not on Sundays, only within specific. In fact, you should not be able to log on at all, except at this time, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, between this time and this time. All right. So that's the kind of thing that he did. Then we'll now say, okay, that is it. So the only thing that we have not done now that you cannot do is this computer you are able to use to log in. That computer itself should be connected to the internet. And I already explained in theory how you connect this computer to the internet. So this way, only Okwe Olowa will be able to log on to the internet at these specific times only. How does he now connect that computer to the internet? Let me explain that, but we're not able to do it. I hope I'm answering your question, Nika.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so where's our diagram? whiteboard.
Sir, this what you just did now brought some.
Hold on, you asked Lisa, let me quickly complete this. Let me remove all of this. So the reason we're not able to do that is because of this. All right, I said I was going to give you 20 minutes. Now we're 18 minutes. All right, so what we have done here is on our lab, until we get to class, we'll not be able to do it more than this. This is what we have implemented here. So on one system, we have a network adapter, and that network adapter is NAT. That connects us to the internet, right?
Yes.
What's the sign for internet? All right, and then we have another system with a network adapter configured for NAT so that it can connect us to the internet. All right, so this one has a network adapter, this one has a network adapter. We are not able to implement in this kind of environment. What should happen is, by the time we get out of our tiny hypervisor and go into class, we should have a system here, and then we should have another system here. And both systems, maybe even a third system, will be connected to a common NAT, which is configured inside the router. This is what I tried to explain in theory. So this NAT, because it's no longer individual NAT like this one was, it's no longer individual NAT like this one was, it's not common to all the computers on the network, and all of them is they are all connected to a switch, and from the switch you now connect to the NAT. This NAT is now called NAT gateway. Anything on the gate through which you connect somewhere else is now called NAT gateway. So it is on this kind of network that you are now able to implement connecting this computer, because this NAT gateway will have an IP address to this IP address before you can now, in practice, do what you are doing. Here, we can only do the much that we have done because this NAT gateway is independent. In other words, this is a network on its own in a way. This is a network on its own, but in the bank situation that you are given, there are so many computers, all of them connected together, working as a corporate network, but using a single NAT. So we need a single NAT here. All right? So by the time we get to cloud, you don't even need to ask this question. This question will automatically answer itself. It just be a matter, okay, this is what he was trying to explain. All right? We don't have this scenario right now. What we have is this scenario. There's limits compared to the 1,500 things we can do in cloud. There is limit to what we do. All right. But in theory, that is the answer to your question.
Okay, sir.
All right. So that is that. What's the other contribution you wanted to make, and what is the video that is missing? Yeah, somebody was going to make a contribution. I said, hold on. Do you still have it, or is it already answered? And what video is missing that you said you don't have access to? That nobody has access to? Video what? Did you say video 10? Is it true that nobody?
Yes, sir.
Is it true? There are about 50 people here. Is it true that nobody
We
has access
received
to
it,
video?
and then
I do have.
Oh, I
Yes,
have it.
sir.
I watched it yesterday.
Olayinka, hold on. You are not the only one.
I think I have it twice now.
I have
All
it,
right.
and I used it yesterday night too. I have it.
All right. So who else has access to video 10?
I have access to it.
I have
access to it.
So Olayinka, you are not correct. So you are making me do work that is not general. So you are speaking for yourself. You don't have access to Windows 10.
It was a general problem earlier. I'm surprised everybody is saying they have it now.
It's not general, because once one person can access it and there's no preferential treatment, everybody. John, can you access video 10?
It was last week. It was a general problem. And then you now said that you will delete and send to everybody again, which you did. So I have it twice now.
Okay.
I didn't receive mine.
I have it twice now. Probably only you did not receive yours, but every other person.
Who else did not receive? Apart from Olayinka. Olayinka did not receive video 10. Who else did not receive video 10? All right, Olayinka, you are the only one. So Olayinka, check again, and if you still have not received it during this break time, in fact, today, let me know today. Let me.
I'm currently in my mail, sir, and it's not here, sir.
Hello, sir.
Olayinka, did you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So alongside Olayinka, any other person that has not received
Hello,
video
sir.
10 or, boy, I'm talking now.
Okay,
Any
sorry,
other
sir.
person that has not received video 10 or any other video, please specify on the group. Once I leave here and I'm not doing anything else, I'll be waiting at the group to support you and help you resolve access to videos. Windows 10, Windows 9, Windows 11, any video, just let me know and I'll give you access. All right. All right, so who was saying hello, sir? What do you want to say? Any other contribution? All right, so we've concluded that we are not meeting till next week,
Someone
Sunday.
just indicated in the group now that she also didn't see the.
And we've resolved that. We said if you didn't see any video, whether it is Windows 10 or Windows 10X, I keep calling it Windows, whether it's video 10 or video 11, just indicate and I'll resolve it. So that is settled. Then I've also settled that we are taking 1 week off so that you not say because I rushed you. All right.
Yes, sir.
So what else do you need? Speak it now. Let's give it to you. Ask.
When next are we meeting, sir?
Next week, Sunday. You have 1 full week.
Okay.
For some people, it's boring, but let's give everyone a chance to come on.
So we are not meeting tomorrow and next, right?
Clear. That is clear.
No, we are not meeting tomorrow. Next Sunday.
Which English is that?
Oh, Lumide, was that you?
Yes, because I know tomorrow and next is part of the weekend program. I just wanted to show.
Yes, we said we are not meeting till next week Sunday.
Okay. Sunday. That's the 1 week now. If we meet tomorrow,
okay.
That means no more 1 week.
Are you from Australia?
No, I'm from Ibadan.
That's right.
All right. So what are we forgetting? Video sorted.
If I catch
holiday sorted. What else are we missing? Your presentation, your assignments, complete them. We're not going back to Windows. Once we come back, we're not going back to Windows. Going straight into Linux.
Shut up.
All right. Everything good? I thought I was going to give you 20 minutes. In fact, I thought I was going to have 20 minutes of your time. But, just use up your 7 minutes so that we know that you use all your time. Taiwo Adeoye.
Yes, I'm here.
You are so quiet these days. Are you okay? Are you still following class?
Okay. Of course I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Or is it because of your printer problem we could not resolve?
No. That's not an issue. No.
Okay.
It's just that I just want to know what she did at the back end. That's what I'm trying to bring it up in class.
Don't worry.
But I'm waiting for the time I have the issues so I will be able to see.
Just bring it back to class. But even if you don't, at this point, they will resolve themselves. Out of 6 months, by the time you do 3 months, so many questions, silent questions will be answered, even the ones you have not answered.
All right, sir.
Or maybe more important questions. You capture your mind and your attention. You don't even remember about it. You don't remember those questions.
All right, sir.
Ready to put off mute his mic now.
I just muted her. All right, any more questions? So
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
We can't let you talk. 885. The noise in the background is too much. So who do we vote the best overall, minus John and Chen, who were already champions before they came in? The best overall trainee for Windows class.
Myself.
Sheyi.
No,
Sheyi is a bit She already knew something before he came here.
I'll vote
you
on
are.
Sir, what do you say?
Yeah, you already knew. Who is Oyewole?
I said, Peter is voting Oyewole.
Who is Oyewole?
Myself.
Oh, okay, Oyewole. Yeah, Oyewole. Yeah, Larry. Yeah, I say this name often. That name is a very active participant.
Thank you so much. But I don't think I deserve it, but thank you.
Maybe you do. Yeah, you are active. You are very active. Where are you?
I'm in New Jersey, sir.
Oh, okay. Your network is good. Others are willing to be very active, but for voice or network problem or one reason or the other, they are not.
Sir, what about
Oluwatobi is doing great. Oluwatobi is doing great. Now, where this photograph, Okpo Oluwa used to do Oluyinka. Daniel is good. He came back from behind after missing the initial classes, and now he's very active. Who else is there?
I vote
myself.
Henry, who is yourself now? Is it you that vote yourself?
If they ask Ibrahimovic that who is the best footballer, he will say to the world that
who is
himself.
that? Was that Olulokpe?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Even though I'm not asking question now, or at least I'll still give myself.
I've seen your name often. I've seen your name from. All right, so it's hard to vote the best overall, but there have been some active participants that have made the class. Without active participation, the class will not be interesting. To be so dull. So I appreciate you for coming up to ask questions and for posing challenges that propel us to. There are different jars in your thinking. There are some jars you go into when we're discussing like this. I'm relaxed, and there are some questions that will come out now. Okay. You just be touching areas that are reserved in my brain that have not opened for 2 years. So the more those kinds of questions come up, the more you have the opportunity to learn. And it's always good to pull those strings once in a while. All right. So this is more like an end of session party for module 1. So good. Not bad at all. All right. That's about it for today. Yeah.
So there's one thing you said when we started today's lesson. You said you would send a note to us about one topic that there was someone mentioned the topic.
DFS. Yes, I'll send you the DFS, the step that my own notes. Are you current in notes? When was the last time I gave you notes? If there's any outstanding notes, I will give it to you.
About the DNS and the DHCP.
Okay.
That's what.
Did you get note on IS?
So yes, we got notes on IS.
Then you are current. So the only other step by step I will copy and send to you now is the DFS.
Do we get note on IS or question? It was a question.
I already gave you note on IS.
No, we didn't get notes.
We don't have.
There was no note on IS.
There was no notes on IS.
Okay, no notes.
So I'll give you notes on IS, and I'll give you notes on the other one. Okay, no wonder you didn't practice. The notes are just step by step.
I did that.
I'll give you those notes. And if there's anything we are forgetting that will help you practice and come out wow at the end of the 1 week, just tell me on the forum and I'll put it there.
Sir, I have a question, sir. Okay, back there when I used to work in the back, I was in the IT section too, and we used to have this issue of trust relationship between client and server. What actually causes trust?
It's bigger than that's forest. It's bigger than what we want to cover here.
Okay, sir. All right.
It's beyond the scope. So we're stopping at domain. We're not covering forest. All right. 2 o'clock. Let me let you go. So we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you won't miss.
Thank you, sir.
We will miss you, sir. We will.
So I'll be on the forum. If you want to speak to me, put it on the forum. I'll be there. I'll be dishing out a lot of things on the forum for you.
All right, sir.
And thank you to the guys on the forum. Yes, it's the WhatsApp we're talking about. Thank you to the guys to that are always there to support your colleagues when they put up issues. You are there to say, try this, try that. Well done. All right. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone. See you on Sunday.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.